Hi there. In this video, we are going to be introduced to matrices and some matrix operations. So we haven't talked about matrices yet, so we first want to talk about what the heck are these things. And a simple way of defining them is it's a rectangular array of numbers. So you can see here, I've got these two large brackets, and I just have rows and columns of values in here. This one's a generic one where it's describing the position of each one, but normally like A11 would just be a number. And so we talk about the size of a matrix in terms of the number of rows it has and the number of columns. So this generic one, I would say, is an M by N matrix, where M, the first number, is the number of rows, and N is the number of columns. Now, it can be tricky to remember which number is which. I tend to remember it as being not in alphabetical order. If it was alphabetical, it would be columns and rows, but we have the reverse of that. And then we usually name a matrix using a capital letter. So here I have a capital A for it. Each value has a position based on the row it's in and the column it's in this matrix. And so in general, I would say an entry or element of a matrix is in the ij column or position. So that's the ith row, and the jth column is just a generic value in there. When I'm talking about a really specific one, for instance, A11, that's telling me this is the value in the first row and the first column. So the first number in that subscript tells me the row, second number tells me the column it's in. So if I shift to the right to A12, that's first row, second column, and so on. Now, if I wanted to have an abbreviated way of referring to this matrix, I could call it a capital A, or I could do some small brackets with that AIJ notation in there just to describe the generic matrix. Some other things to know, the main diagonal of a matrix are where all the values, the row and column match. So A11, A22, A33, and so on, going down the diagonal from the top left to the bottom right. That's my main diagonal of a matrix. A square matrix is one where the rows and columns are the same, so M is equal to N. And so an example of a square matrix, here I have a matrix with 3 rows and 3 columns, so it's a 3 by 3 matrix, and it's square since those two values match. We would say that two matrices are equal to each other if all their entries in all the same positions are exactly the same. So if I go, by each row and each column, and I get the same value in each position, then those are equal matrices. Is not the same thing as saying equivalent matrices. Those are where the matrices might look a little different, but we can say that they are equivalent to each other. It's something we'll look at later. Some other special types of matrices that we'll run into. If I have a matrix that is a single column, however many rows it just has the one column, we call them a column vector. And whenever we're talking about vectors, we will use a boldface capital letter to name that one. So here I have a boldface A to describe this column vector 0, 2, 6. Similarly, if there's only one row, then I call that a row vector. So here I have a single row of 4, 0, 5. So that would be a row vector. And again, I have a bold-faced letter. So here's a bold-face B to name that matrix. Okay, so let's get into some operations with matrices. First is, well, can I add two matrices, and how do I do that? And so I can add or subtract two matrices from each other as long as they're the same size. So they need to have the same number of rows and the same number of columns to add them. And that's because we're going to go entry position by position and add those values to get my new matrix. So if I have a 2 by 2 matrix, I can only add it to another 2 by 2 matrix, and the sum would be a 2 by 2 matrix. And so kind of writing out the position level, if I'm taking a matrix A plus a matrix B to get a sum of a matrix C, then I'm just taking the ijth term from A plus the ijth term from B, so in the same position, and the sum will go in the ijth position in the matrix C. And to make that a little more concrete, let's say we pick that very first value in first row, first column. So A11 would be added to B11 to get me C11 in the answer matrix. Okay, but a lot of this, even when I put in some real numbers for the row and column, it's still kind of hard to wrap our head around. So doing an example really helps to make this a little more concrete. So here I have two matrices, A and B, and they're both 3x3 matrices. So I'm going to be able to add them to each other because of the same size. And the sum that I get will be another 3x3 matrix. So I'm just going to set this up, set them next to each other with a plus in between. And then I'm going to start with that first row, first column value. So here in A, it's 1. In B, it's 7. I'm going to add those. And that sum of 8 is going to go in the first position, first row, first column of the answer. And then I'll just finish out that row. So sliding to the right in each matrix, -3 plus 1 gives me a -2. And 6 plus 10 gives me 16. And that finishes off the first row. Then I can go to the next row. -5 plus -2 is -7. 0 plus 3 is 3. 9 minus 9 gives me a 0. And there's my second row. And for the final row, I've got 4 plus 3 gives me 7. 9 plus -18 gives me a -9. And 0 plus 0 is 0. And there is my sum for these two matrices. So the nice thing about matrix addition is it happened pretty much how we would want it to if we were going to design it ourselves. The next thing we want to look at is scalar multiples of matrices. So I can take a matrix and multiply it by a single number called a scalar value. And when we do that, we're just multiplying every single entry of the matrix by that scalar value. So in the general example, if I have some scalar C and a matrix A, if I multiply C times A, I'm just going into every single entry of matrix A and multiplying it by C. Okay, so let's put these two operations together in this example. So I want to take those same two matrices we had in the last example, and we're going to do 2A minus B. Okay, so first with that negative, because we haven't done a subtraction one, that's really the same thing as saying plus -1. So I'm going to do a scalar multiplication where I do 2 times matrix A and then -1 times the matrix B, and then I'll just add the two matrices together. So for matrix A, I'm going to take all of the values in my 3x3 matrix, all 9 values, and multiply them all by 2. And then I'll take all the values in matrix B and multiply them all by -1. So just switching the signs of each of them. And then I'm just going to add these two matrices together like we did in the last example. And I get my solution there. So this might be a good one to pause for a second and work this through to make sure you get the same thing as I did. But I got -5, -7, 2 in the first row, -8, -3, 27 in the second row, and 5, 36, and 0 in the last row. Okay, next operation we want to be able to do is matrix multiplication. Now, unfortunately, this is not as simple as the addition was or the scalar multiplication. It's not a matter of just multiplying corresponding terms or values. Instead, we have a little bit more complicated way that we need to go about multiplying matrices. The first thing to know about matrix multiplication is the matrices don't have to be the same size, and often they're not, right? Instead, they have to have a very specific combination. So A times B, multiplying two matrices, is only defined if the number of columns in matrix A is the same as the number of rows in matrix B. Again, tricky thing to keep straight. So make it a little more concrete. If I have a matrix A that's M by N, so it has M rows and N columns, and a matrix B that is N by P, so that's N rows and P columns. So the columns in A match the number of rows in B here. The second number in matrix A's dimensions is the same as the first number in matrix B's dimensions. That might be an easier way to remember it. And then to get the size of that answer, that product matrix, I would take the rows in column A and the in matrix A, and the columns for matrix B, and that would give me the size of A times B. So I have an M by P matrix here. And again, it's kind of a mind bender. It takes some practice to get used to this, but that's what we're looking for. Those are the values we're trying to match up in order to multiply them. And those are the outside values are the ones that we're using for the size of the answer matrix. Okay, so I'm going to go through this generically, but again, doing an example is really what makes this a little easier to understand. So first, let's say I have these two generic matrices, A and B, and you can see they're not the same size, but I am going to be able to multiply these because of the dimensions there. So the rows of A and the columns of B are the same. And so I'm going to focus on just a generic row to see how I would find one specific one. So let's say I take the ith row of A and the jth column of B. That is going to give me the ijth value in my answer. Right? And what we do is once we match them up, we start with the first value in the row of A and the column of B. Right? And this is a formula I'm going to follow as I do this. So the first value of each one, I'm going to multiply those. And then I'm going to slide to the right and down and do the second entry in the row and the second entry in the column. And I'll multiply those. And then all these products that I'm going to get, I'm going to add up. And so then I do that all the way down the row. Every time I move to the right on my row, I'll move down on the column for the second matrix and multiply those. And then I get a sum of all those products. And whatever that value ends up being, that is the value for my ijth term. So again, probably didn't get all that just from my explanation. So let's do an example to make this a little more concrete. Okay, so I have a matrix A. Right? This is a 2 by 3 matrix, and matrix B, which is a 3 by 2 matrix. So the columns of A, no, I had it right the first time. The rows of A match the rows of B match the columns of A. Okay, so I get the 3s that match. And so I'm going to get, when I multiply these, a 2 by 2 matrix. So I'm grabbing the dimensions at the end of those. Okay, so that's how my answer is going to look. Okay, so that's the first thing we had to figure out. Now let's actually try multiplying these out. Okay, so I have my two matrices next to each other to multiply. And I'm going to start with that first row of matrix A and the first column of matrix B. And I'm going to multiply 2 times 7. Okay, and then plus 6 times 0 plus 12 times 3. And that will give me the 50. Okay, so again, I did 2 times 7 plus 6 times 0 plus 12 times 3 to get the first row, first column position in my matrix. To get the one to the right of that 50, I will do the first row, second column, because that's the position in the answer. It is the first row, second column position in the answer. So now I'll take that same 2, 6, 12 row, multiply it now by the second column, -1, -2, 4. So 2 times -1 plus 6 times -2 plus 12 times 4. And that gives you a 34. Okay, so I finish off the first row. If I want to do the second row, then I go to the second row of A. And to get the first value in that row, I multiply the second row times the first column of B. So 1 times 7 plus 0 times 0 plus 5 times 3. And that should give you a value of 22. And then to get the last one, the position I'm looking for is row 2, column 2. So I'm going to multiply row 2 times column 2. So this is going to be 105 times the column -1, -2, 4. So 1 times -1 plus 0 times -2 plus 5 times 4 gives me a value of 19. And that is how you do matrix multiplication. Again, it's going to take a lot of practice. This is just our first time doing one of these. Okay, the last thing for this video that we want to learn how to do is transpose matrices. A transpose matrix is the result of flipping a matrix along its diagonal. So remember, the main diagonal is going from top left to bottom right of your matrix. And so if you just take and you switch everything, your rows become columns and your columns become rows, you get the transpose matrix of your beginning matrix. Okay, so if I have an m by n matrix A, the transpose of A, which I'm going to put a little t where an exponent would normally be to represent a transpose, then you're just flipping everything, so the rows and columns flip in the dimensions as well. So an m by n matrix has a transpose that is n by n in dimension. And the ijth term becomes the jith term when I switch. So everything just kind of flips along that main diagonal. So let's look at an example with this. So we have our matrix A. It has 2 rows, 3 columns. And so it doesn't even have like a great main diagonal because it's not square. But my first row is going to become my first column. My second row is become my second column. So this ends up being a 3 by 2 matrix where that first row 2, 6, 12 became the first column going down 2, 6, 12. And the first row 1, 0, 5 became the second column 1, 0, 5. And that's how you transpose a matrix. We'll learn more about the properties of these of transposing and multiplying and adding in the next section.